So, hey, we excited about this one? No? You pressed play anyway. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and you're now stuck listening to Daily Shot of Steelers that comes your way, apparently, whether you like it or not, every weekday morning. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also cover two other teams in town, the Penguins and the Pirates, and offer daily shots on those as well. Without ado, before I lose you, what I'd like to see from Steelers versus Bengals tomorrow night at Acrisure Stadium. I'd like to see one. Just give me one blitz. Show that it was at least part of the repertoire entering the season, that it just didn't have all of the pages ripped out of the playbook to make some sort of point that the Pittsburgh defense is now above doing something that it had done, and done better than anybody, in a lot of cases, for decades. At least get in there. Mike, who's a longtime listener of this program, sent the following stats my way. The Steelers this season have 0 sacks from their starting inside linebackers. They have 0 sacks from Keanu Benton. They have 0 sacks from the safety position. They have 0 sacks from the starting outside corners. Now, outside of Keanu in there, the rest is just because they haven't sent anybody. This isn't like some sort of random accusation on my part. You're facing Joe Burrow. The quarterbacks you're going to be facing after that are going to be in the realm of C.J. Stroud, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and so forth. You're going to have to do something to get back there. Set the pride aside. I'd like to see a first series touchdown. Crazy, right? Get the ball, move down the field, punch it in. Just once this season has yet to happen. And the reason it's yet to happen is because both Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin seem dead set on this idea that all you're supposed to do in the first half is wear the other guys down and show them how tough you are. How about maybe not this time? How about scoring a touchdown? I'd like to see within that, anything, okay? Anything from the offensive line. I will take the line being better at anything. If that means they hold their pass blocks for another half a second, if that means that they, for a second time this season, render Trey Hendrickson moot, if that means that they block just as efficiently for Najee Harris as they do for Jaylen Warren, while also understanding that those require different types of blocking and different schemes, show me anything that is a step forward in this area, and everything will seem at least a little bit rosier. You know, I'd like to see Beanie Bishop play over Cam Sutton. I don't care that everybody has decided to get along. I don't care that everyone wants to just fluff this off as if it was not a big deal and players bickering and showing their pride and whatever else here. The fact is that these players were legitimately angry, and these players wanted a change to their defense because of football things. That doesn't go away because you have a friendly little powwow and wish it to go away. It goes away because you make a football change to address a football problem that I am strongly suspecting will not actually happen. I would like to see a throbbing crowd filling up those yellow seats. I would like to see the city convey to the team that what the team has done to date still matters and will matter moving forward. And I will remind you that this will be the city's last opportunity to do that, barring something bizarre occurring this weekend and the Steelers winning the division. That's not going to happen. I would like to see the city be at least semi-responsible for resurrecting this season after those 3 games. This game that's being played tomorrow does matter. This game can represent a reset button for this team. This game can put the Steelers into a comfortable enough position, and I use the term comfortable advisedly, where they can go into the following week. Let's say they get sent to Houston and take on the Texans, who are a little bit damaged and not so hot themselves, and win a playoff game and get that off their backs. And then once you do that, you built up to just feeling like you're equal with everybody else in your conference. The negativity and the doubts and all that other stuff, they don't completely disappear, but they sure do dissipate. They at least begin dissipating. All of this can happen, and it can start in Pittsburgh, and it can start in those yellow seats. When we come back, J1Q. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George is a personal injury law firm in Western Pennsylvania that represents injured people in automobile accidents, workers' compensation cases, and medical malpractice claims. The attorneys at Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George pride themselves in doing what they say they're going to do. It's important to them that when they make you a promise, they keep that promise. And this law firm has been keeping promises for over 80 years. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George has been AV rated. That's the highest rating a law firm can receive for legal ability and ethics. And the lawyers at the firm have been designated super lawyers, that's a real thing, for over 15 years. Rare combination there. Luxenberg, Garbett, Kelly & George has offices in Cranberry, Newcastle, Beaver Falls, Butler, and Elwood City. Learn more about them at lgkg.com or by calling 888-842-5454. Again, that's 888-842-5454. 5454. Today's J1Q comes from Raul in Brazil. And Raul says, DK, do you think that the offensive line has been one of the more significant issues of this team ever since Mike Munchak left? And that in turn makes the team's issues on offense look even worse. Now, I like the way you asked this question, Raul. I like that you brought up not only Munchak, which a lot of people do, but that you stress there at the end, at least in question form, that the line can make everything else look like it's a grade or two lower than it really is. I mean, let's be honest here. When we've seen, let's just isolate on Najee Harris. This doesn't have to be about running backs or the running game. Najee has hinted very strongly over the years that when he has a hole, he's going to be fine. Now, that's not always the case, and he doesn't always see the hole. He's been better at that, I think, over the past couple of seasons than he was in the first couple. But if he ever played, which he still hasn't, by the way, in the NFL, behind a good to really good line, he'd be a different back. The offense would be a different offense. And Jalen could then come in and do a lot of different things. He could be a complement. He could be the guy that overtakes him, whatever. You could just go with what the Steelers really want, and I think they really should want, and that's to have two guys going and really have the defense guessing. You don't have that. The main reason you don't have that is you don't have that line. Now, maybe you will, and maybe all these investments that the Steelers have made, to their credit, over the past couple of years will eventually pay off. Maybe Broderick Jones will have just had a sophomore slump, and everyone will forget all about it. Maybe he'll even go to the left side, and Troy Fautano will be on the right. Maybe they'll get more mileage out of Mason McCormick than anyone could have expected where he was drafted. Maybe Zach Frazier is going to be a stud for a long time, a classic old school Pittsburgh center. But you know, we've been saying this stuff for a while now, and if I had to list my greatest disappointments of the 2024 season to date, and I'm purposely omitting Omar Khan not getting another wide receiver because I see that as a mistake of the offseason as opposed to one of the actual season. The season itself, my number one by a mile is that the line hasn't progressed. Now, you could say, well, if Fautanu was healthy, you certainly liked the way he started off, but he wasn't. And the guy who took Fautanu's place, don't forget, was a high first-round pick himself in Jones. And we just haven't seen it. You can give Pat Meyer, for example, credit for Frazier. I think you have to do that. You can't ignore it. You can't just give all the credit to the players when things go well and then all the blame to the coaches when they don't. So, hey, hats off. Frazier immediately jumped right in and became a nice, solid center. In a lot of ways, better than solid. Good for him. Good for Meyer. Okay. What about the two tackles? You can say Dan Moore is, he's gone from Pittsburgh after this season, which I very much believe. You can say that he's either, depending on your perspective of what his initial talent was upon arrival, that he's either been an overachiever or an underachiever based on the amount of starts that he's had in the league. But you can't say that you're satisfied with what you've gotten out of left tackle. You certainly can't say that about right tackle. You can't say that about the two guard positions. They've been inconsistent. Even Isaac Seumalo, who really should have been past that point in his career, he's shown some shortcomings. So you tell me when it ends. Tell me when is the game where we go, hey, how about the line, man? They looked good, huh? Didn't even think about them through the whole thing. How often have you done that this year? Maybe twice? And was it both times against the New Jersey teams? I don't know. I don't see it, Raul. Okay. I don't see the progress that you need to have. It's not like the Steelers just pulled people off the street. They spent 9 figures in dollars to bring in guys. They spent draft capital, not 1 year, but 2 years in a row, trading up to get Jones, rushing to the figurative podium to get Fautanu. This was where their hearts were set both years. They put that into the players. The players came here, they're here, and they're not getting better. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Steelers. And we'll be back with another one of these on an emergency basis. I'm being dramatic. We're going to have an extra Sunday show. I'll see you then.